pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hope everybody had a nice holiday weekend. I hope everybody the board had a chance to look at the minutes of our June 15th meeting. Anybody have any corrections or additions? Entertain a motion to accept as presented.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 15th, 2026 meeting.
Second. Then approved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay, department heads. Jim?
A couple of things. One, this is runs for July. And also up to date on that. What we had. We had 12 runs in July. 8 township, 4 in town. Total so far this year, which again, I runs from November to October, we've got 106 runs, 68 in the township and 40 in town. Good. Any questions on that? I also want to address our dispatch problems with what we got going on with our dispatch. You're all aware that from Monday to Friday, from Monday to Friday night, you're dispatching from Wayne County from 11 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning. From Saturday night at 11 o'clock till Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock, Wayne County's dispatching. They're trying to get more dispatchers. They've only got 2 right now. They've got 1 in training. But the latest I've heard was one of the regular dispatchers now is leaving in September. And she's had people come in and train. A couple of them decided that wasn't what they wanted to do. It's not an easy job. You got 1 person in there and you got Sheriff's Department, Police Department, Fire Department, and it's trying to all talk. It's not an easy job. But I've been talking with Matthew Kane, which is 911 director for Wayne County. Right now, we get dispatched during those times. We get a phone call. We get a text message that tells us we have a run. Then we get a phone call that tells us we have a run. Then we get another text message confirming what the dispatch is, what the actual run is. My first concern was, my phone going to wake me up in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock in the morning. All of us have adapted. We've got loud, obnoxious ringers for that particular number. It has worked so far. We haven't missed anything, but it's a time thing. I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I have to get dressed. Some of us can set our tones off on our portables, but everybody don't hear that because it only goes so far. But the thing with that is that sets off our e-dispatch, and then everybody gets that again through their phone. It has worked. We haven't had any major problems. But still, I want to get away from cell phone if we can. the first talk, we didn't want to do no major changes. If things actually worked and smoothed out, we didn't want to make no major changes. But I mean, cell phone outages are few and far in between. But again, with the storms we've had, we've had cell phone outages, and sometimes just the weather or something can also do that. It takes a few minutes to get everybody rolling. But sometimes minutes is what causes this a problem. That I have to get up, I can set the tones off, then I have to get dressed, then I have to get on the 800 radio and confirm Wayne County that we're dispatching, that we're going to acknowledge the call, we're going out. It's taken a couple minutes, not real long, but again, some of the solutions that we've been working with Matthew Kane, Wayne County can't reach our tower on the fire department frequency the way it sets right now. There'd be a cost involved to do that. If which the county has a repeater, which they can reach the repeater, but also that they actually dispatch the ambulance still on the police frequency, the sheriff's frequency, and they can reach that repeater. If we was to put a repeater in, depending on how we did it, if we was to put a repeater like they got on the water tower, and we'd have to have the building, we'd have to have the electric, you'd have to have the backup. That's the guy, Gary Green with Tech Electronics, been in contact with him too. He said that'd run anywhere between $25,000 and $30,000. One of the other things is we could get a repeater on ours and actually put it in the station now, again with the part of the old building, and probably with that would be about $7,000. But you'd have repeater works. It's got two radios, and you have to go through the paperwork, the FCC, and stuff like that. We would get totally different frequencies. So then we'd have to reprogram all of our portables, all of our truck radios, and that's about $25 a piece. So there's going to be a cost somewhere. Now, if Wayne County, if they can, they're going to they can put an antenna up. Again, that would be a cost on them, which would probably come back to us. Since the law enforcement is actually primarily supposed to be on the 800, I've talked to Sheriff Adams, I've talked to Jenny, the dispatch, and Matthew Kane and his vendor is going to put our tones in their radio and see if they can if we can get dispatched on the sheriff's frequency. Again, we'd have to change some radio settings. Our radios do have that, but it's not priority. We'd have to set that up so that but once we get dispatched, we would use our own frequency. And that would probably be the most minimal cost to anybody. So we've been working on solutions, and like I said, it doesn't. At first they had 2 or 3 physical trained. Now they've only got 1. And he's done a pretty good job, but he's getting toward the training where they turn him loose. But then the one they got now is supposed to leave in September. So again, that's going to set them back to 2. And this agreement was supposed to go through this month to August. So again, it's probably going to be extended, and we didn't want to change anything long term if things worked out, but it's not looking like it's going to work out. So I just want to give you a heads up on what we're looking at, what we're trying to accomplish, trying to figure out the best way to do it. Again, those are some of the options that we got, and we got to get away from cell phone. I mean, for a simple reason that the power, we could have an outage. It has worked, but again, you have to make sure your phone's always charged. And sometimes I get late at night and it's getting pretty low. So again, we have to make sure that it has worked. I will say that so far. Any questions?
Well, we'd certainly like to get the problem resolved. That's for sure. I said we certainly would like to see the problem resolved.
Yes.
Because all this that you're talking about, although it doesn't sound like a lot of time, it takes time.
Yeah.
And time means the difference between, a lot of things, maybe possibly life or death.
Yeah.
So do we know, because I don't want to spend money on something if it isn't going to be the way it is. So for instance,
That,
I mean, are we technically just basically going to be partnered with Wayne County through, whenever they get fully staffed? So am I going to spend $7,000 to $8,000 on repeaters, and then basically everything's going to come back to us, or are we going to constantly be with Wayne County?
that right now is up in the air. I mean, that's why we haven't changed anything, and we've used the cell phones as much as, because we didn't want to make any big changes if they could accomplish getting dispatchers. But again, they've got one in training, they've got the 911 director, and they got one seasoned dispatcher, but she's leaving in September. So that's going to knock them back down to 2. So this probably will be extended. And we didn't want to change anything because of they were trying to accomplish to get their dispatchers back here. But in the long run, we want to do something because, I mean, they could accomplish that and get some dispatchers in here. But then again, somewhere down the road, we run into the same thing. We got the same problem. We didn't want to go all out and say, well, we want to put a repeater in, we want to do this is just going to be short term. I just want to let you know where we're at, the problems we're having. Again, I'm not asking for $27,000 to put a repeater in right now, but it might come to that. So I just want to give you a heads up on where we're at on that.
Does the board have any questions? I feel that we maybe need to look into this a little bit deeper.
Yeah, well, we have been.
Try to cover. But you talked about the least expensive would be reprogramming and getting dispatch. So you might, I'm not going for cheap, but we are in a budget crunch.
Yes.
So you might
And
get a ballpark figure of what that might run us.
Again, when we first talked about this, we didn't want to do anything major because we was hoping it's going to be short term. But again, it's not looking like it's going to be short term. But again, if they extend it another 3 months, we can still get by with what we're doing. But again, maybe minimal to where they can put our tones and reach the, because they dispatch the ambulance on the sheriff's frequency. They don't have our tones. They don't have our frequency in the radio, but they can't reach our tower. So there would have to be some expense on their part, which again would probably come back. I talked to the council. I'm going to talk to the commissioners. I'm just giving kind of a heads up on exactly where we are. One other thing, I know that we've been working on the old building. I don't know if it's, again, I know budget crunch and everything, but we want to restore the flooring, not the flooring, but the carpet stuff out of the old office. And we got quote to put carpet in. Is there any money possibly for us to carpet that? We've been using it as a meeting room, and that's our planned meeting and training room. But as of right now, that's the only expense that we're looking at.
You have to get, you can't just do one. You got to call other people too.
Well, we
You've got to have at least three.
Okay.
Three.
Well, we've got 2.
Well, you got to have 3.
Okay.
Then come to me after that, because I'm going to have to look, see where I've got money at.
Yeah, get that information and bring it back to us.
I was going to say we had 2. I have to tell you the truth, it was a major discrepancy in both of them. That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay. Matt?
Just a couple things. We are painting this paint season right now, so you'll see something about. Just be patient with us trying to get all that done. With the weather the way it has been. We're finishing up with Frontier on their fiber optic stuff right now. Trying to put a punch list together of stuff they need to come back in and get done before they leave town with the fiber. One thing I know I did report back that Comcast wasn't coming to town. Now they called us and said they are coming to town and they want to have a meeting with us. So we'll have to sit down. I talked with Melissa
we'll have a pre-con meeting with them, because there's several things we're gonna need to go over to make sure they're aware of what's gonna go on with town, with having that many pull boxes and that everything gonna be bored, because they're doing 92,000 foot of fiber optic, all gonna be underground at 688 pull boxes. So that's gonna be distributed through people's yards everywhere, on top of what's already there. So, yeah, it's kind of where we're at with it for right now.
Okay. Todd?
Hopefully next meeting I'll have quotes for the 800s. Also for the CAD system. We had a busy weekend. And then I should have my quarterlies with the dispatcher being switched back and forth. It's a little bit more difficult to get them. So hopefully by next meeting.
What's on 800s? Because we got you guys 800s.
Car radios that I brought up for a couple meetings ago.
So you'll have 2 quarterly reports for us.
Hopefully, yes.
All right. Alrighty. We'll drop down this miscellaneous business. Allison?
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Allison Webb. Thanks for taking the time to be here this evening and serving on our town board. Over the past several weeks, I had the opportunity to attend the Ball State University Indiana Communities Institute Basic Economic Development course. As the Community Development Project Coordinator with the Union County Foundation and the coordinator of Liberty Can, I felt that this was an important opportunity to expand my understanding of economic development and bring new ideas back into our community. Before I begin, I want to be clear that I'm not here because I have all the answers. I'm here because I wanted to learn from communities across Indiana that are finding success and bringing some of those lessons back to Liberty. One of the biggest takeaways from the course was that economic development has changed drastically. Today, communities are not just competing for jobs or businesses, they're competing for people. People choose where they want to live based on more than employment opportunities. They look for communities that offer quality of life, housing, recreation, thriving downtowns, opportunities to connect with others, and a sense of pride in where they live. One study discussed during the course identified 3 factors that consistently influence where people choose to live. Those are friendly people, things to do, and aesthetics and sense of place. As I listened to those discussions, I couldn't help but think about Liberty. Over the past few years, we have definitely seen volunteers, businesses, local government, nonprofits, and community organizations investing in events, public spaces, beautification projects, recreation, and opportunities that bring people together. All of those efforts matter. They create pride in our community and support local businesses, encourage investment, and help make Liberty a place where people want to live, work, and raise their families. Another topic that was emphasized throughout the course was housing. One statement that was repeated several times was no housing means no workforce, and no workforce means no growth. Housing isn't simply about constructing buildings, it's creating opportunities for young families to stay, attracting new residents, providing options for seniors who want to remain in the community, and supporting businesses, schools, churches, and organizations that depend on a healthy population. The course also reinforced the importance of supporting the businesses we already have. While attracting new business is exciting, much of a community's growth comes from the businesses that have already invested here. Continuing to support them and creating an environment where they can succeed is one of the best investments a community can make. Perhaps the greatest lesson I took away from the course was that no one organization can accomplish these goals alone. Successful communities are built through collaboration between local government, businesses, nonprofits, schools, volunteers, and residents who all share a common vision for the future. That's one of the reasons that Liberty Can was formed. Liberty Can, Community Action Network, is our community's downtown-focused Main Street organization. Created to serve as a partner in revitalization efforts, our goal is not to duplicate work that is already happening, but to complement it by helping coordinate volunteers, support local businesses, pursue grants, encourage downtown investment, organize community events, and bring people together around a shared vision for our downtown. We believe a vibrant downtown benefits everyone. When downtown succeeds, it strengthens our local economy, creates opportunities for businesses, encourages private investment, and contributes to the overall quality of life throughout our community. As I completed this course, one thing became very clear. Communities that are successful do not wait for change to happen. They intentionally plan for it and work together to make it happen. That's why we're excited to continue learning about opportunities that can help Liberty grow and thrive. This evening, we're fortunate enough to have a team from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, also known as OCRA, who work with communities across Indiana every day to help them do exactly that. I would like to introduce to you Glenn and Tayton, who will share more about the Indiana Main Street program, how it supports downtown revitalization across our state, and what becoming involved in the program could look like for Liberty. This is Glenn, and this is Tayton. Tayton is our community liaison. He covers Union County and a bunch of other
Southeast 18
Southeast 18 counties.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here tonight and having us come up and talk about Main Street. Are any of you guys familiar with Indiana Main Street at all? Awesome. That means it's a blank slate. That's awesome. So as Allison mentioned, we're with the Office of Community and Rural Affairs. I'm with Indiana Main Street. We oversee 113 different community organizations across the state that are doing grassroots, place-based economic development. And our role as a state agency is to provide technical assistance and resources to these community leaders, such as Allison and Ann, who are doing the work of bettering their community, making a stronger sense of place, a more thriving economy, and a place that people want to live, work, and play. So one of my roles is overseeing what we call our ODAN, or OCRA. We love the word OCRA. OCRA Downtown Affiliate Network is our baseline of Main Street organizations. We have 70 of them across the state, and they range in size from huge towns to small communities. Our smallest Main Street is LaGrow up in northern Indiana, with I believe 370 people. And our largest Main Street in Indiana is Noblesville with 75,000 people. So the Main Street approach works across towns and cities of different sizes. Main Street has a 4-point approach to downtown revitalization, being focused on organization and driving a mission, focus on design, the built environment, using what you already have, the downtown core, as your anchor, promotion, storytelling for your community, and then economic vitality. Kind of meat of what Main Streets do is they support business owners and help them grow and transition and build your community up. So Main Streets from Noblesville down to LaGrow use those 4 points and use them in vastly different ways because every community is different, and Main Street allows for local leaders to take those 4 points and use those as anchors and transform their communities. Main Street started in Indiana, so down in Madison, where Tayton's from, down in 1979, the National Trust for Historic Preservation started a pilot program to revitalize downtowns after seeing things like malls take business out of downtowns. So this started in 1979 and has been consistently growing in Indiana and across the nation. So our office provides lots of resources from not just Indiana, but from all over the country, and we kind of distill it and bring it back down to leaders at the local level, empower them to change their communities. So, you guys have any questions? That's like high level overview. I don't want to take up your whole meeting. But so the folks over at Liberty Canada are getting ready to apply for accreditation through Indiana Main Street, which means a lot of submitting paperwork, vision and mission statements to our office. We review them every year, and then part of that being a Main Street is that they come alongside the local unit of government, the town board, to complement what you guys are doing and be that non-profit part of the community that you guys can partner with and work to achieve each other's goals. So as part of the application process, Liberty Town will be coming back to town board and asking for a statement of support for their application. So this is kind of like a little preview for their future presentation to the board and getting actual support from this board for the application.
And the handout I just
There you have it.
the handout I just gave you, that goes over a lot of the incentives as well as the requirements. This goes over kind of more of what Lynn just talked about, the 4-point approach, and the reason why
It doesn't cost any money to join. It's a
501c3.
It's a once they get their independent 501c3 status and register with the state as a nonprofit, then you guys are all set.
Yep.
So we're fortunate. We're called the state coordinating program. So Indiana, obviously Indiana Rural Affairs contracts out with the National Main Street Center to get all the trainings and services, and we provide those to communities for free. So that right network. Any questions that you guys have that I might be able to answer?
So you're asking for our support?
Yeah, this is just kind of an introductory, so you can mull it over and kind of do some of your own research. I would suggest also, just as you're traveling throughout other communities, Brookville has an amazing Main Street organization, and they Rushville as well. Richmond has a Main Street organization that's helping with the downtown revitalization. There's lots of positive change, positive things happening, and a lot of community support because we're able to, as a nonprofit, apply for grant funding and things like that. So I think it's just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of what's going on. I'm sure you've seen, if you're on Facebook, I'm all over Facebook already. We've had our 501c3 for a year now. We just missed the deadline last year to apply as ODAN to get our Indiana accreditation. But we will be applying in October to become official by the state of Indiana as a Main Street organization. So we've been working alongside UCDC. We're trying to work with the county as well, support local business, especially in our community. We know every business matters, not just the downtown businesses. And so we, still do the shout outs and the support. But our focus will have a main downtown district that we will focus on. And as more communication comes and more people get behind us, we'll have the ability to do more with more. So
Main Streets are all about incremental, sustainable growth to make your downtowns resilient and vibrant. So towns like Franklin, where I grew up, started out with a small Main Street. Now they have a nationally accredited Main Street that helps run lots of festivals and different businesses in town and support them. So,
and if you want to contact more locally, Christine Craig is the Main Street Director over at Brookville. She is a great contact. They did just win the Preserving Award a couple years ago. So you can go down their Main Street, they have QR codes in the windows so you can show the before and after work improvements that was done to the facades of the building. But I can give you that contact as well, or any other accredited Main Street that you guys feel like you guys are similar to. I know all Main Streets are different, but there's one specifically you'd like to talk to, and I'm happy to connect you.
But I think it's good to get an idea of what people are doing in your community before they come and ask for your actual support, so you're not just bombarded. So, and then Allison has our contact info as well if you guys have any questions and want to reach out. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Shannon?
Hello. So I'm Shannon William, and my husband Corey and I are here tonight to represent an issue that we had shared with the town council on April 6th. I don't believe all of you were here at that time, so I'll just provide a very brief summary of what that issue was. But we own a rental property located at 4 Fosdick Street here in town, and in February of this year, we had a change in tenants. And like we normally do, I would contact the town water to request the order be placed to have the service changed at the end of the month, so as not to result in a duplicate bill. Contacted the town water on February 9th. Tenants contacted them on February 10th, and the order that I had placed was overwritten, and therefore the water was placed in the tenant's name mid-month, which resulted in a duplicate bill. I shared this issue with all of you, not just a request for the refund of that duplicate bill, but also the process whereby landlords, tenants, owners can call and override each other's orders and what could be done to improve that process. So on April 6th, you all agreed to take that under advisement. I learned on June 9th that ordinance 2026-2 was passed, which only authorizes the landlord or the property owner to establish a date of service that would convert to a renter's service. So when I had recently talked to Melissa about that on June 9th, she requested that we come back and re-request the refund of the 7684 for the duplicate bill that was resulted from that issue in February. So because the account was transferred outside of owner instruction and the ordinance was passed as a result of us presenting in April due to that issue, we're here tonight to respectfully request the 7684 be refunded under that ordinance to us.
So then does that money go back to you or back to them?
It goes back to us because we paid both bills in February. And I have a copy of the bills if anybody would
We've got
like to have them. Okay.
Board members have any more questions?
No, I thought after the last time, I don't know what happened with it. After we decided you was gonna go in, and there was possibly something you could do.
We passed an ordinance to fix all that.
Yeah, I was thinking there was something you thought you would be able to get her money back because at the time you said we couldn't do nothing as far as.
That's right, and that's why she's representing, because now we have it in place.
Right.
And I have it right here if anybody wants to see it, but now it's in place where it can't happen because previous to that, it couldn't. Because it was not in
So
order.
the other situation, did you go in after that, and that not work out, or what? There was something, I can't remember what it was.
They presented two adjustments that night. One for, I can't remember what address it was, because you guys have repairs done. And then this one was the quote unquote communication issue. So this is now covered under ordinance, but they couldn't do it then because it was not written in ordinance.
So how it was left when we talked about this issue on the 6th was it was going to be taken under advisement and to see if it could be refunded as a clerical error. But I hadn't heard anything, so I had reached back out on June 9th. So we're back tonight. I apologize for taking your time again, but
We're here for you.
I appreciate that.
So I think, and maybe, I don't know if this clarifies it, but I think what Mr. Tipton was talking about, we were gonna try to amend it as a clerical error. We couldn't legally do that, so we moved on and did the ordinance that's now passed, and me personally, I would vote to refund the 7680.
Okay, form of motion.
That is a motion.
That is a motion. Have a motion on the table to refund their, what was it,
$76.84.
$76.84. Second. We have a motion second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. This will make it much easier for us in the future to not have to worry about duplicate billing for the same month. So thank you.
And you might just remind your tenants if they come in and make that request that it's not known or something,
They're told.
that will be on them.
Understood.
We've made it that they cannot request at all. That's what that did.
Okay.
It is the
That's the
landlord. It is the landlord's decision, not, they don't have any
They are
choice.
communicated with me with documentation. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Duke Energy sidewalks.
This is more of a, what I want to say, we don't technically have this, but they're doing a big project at the substation that's over here, and they're going to be putting their materials on the sidewalk. And we'll,
They're actually putting the job trailer on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
They asked me how to handle it. I said, I think we need to go to council just like we would.
This is there across from verdict lines?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And I said, I think we need to just follow this as procedure so that we know it is gonna be on the sidewalk right through there. Granted, it's on the sidewalk part, but not a lot of high traffic right through there that I think that would cause that problem for them. So I just told them that we need to get approval here to say yes and, so they could have a job trailer, because they're gonna be there, roughly 9 more months probably to be there total. So, yep.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to Duke Energy sidewalk closure.
I'll second.
A motion second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed. Motion carries.
Okay, next on the additional appropriations, these are what we need to request in order to get some of these, appropriations out of the red. Police departments had a lot of overtime, due to we're short a guy for the time being, as well as, property and liability insurance was more than what we anticipated. We had not done any part of the opioid unrestricted, so we need to do that because the guys bought a tent and table for community relations. Same with this, I think everything's pretty much, I put explanations as to why these are being requested. So it shouldn't be any surprise. And then I have to advertise that with 10 days notice, so we won't be able to discuss these until, or have the additional appropriation hearing until the first meeting in August. So that's just for information.
That paving down there where the water main break was, is that been done or is that future?
Oh, that's
No,
future.
That's future. We haven't even done anything.
But I'm gonna go ahead and request that money because as a part of our project,
Yeah, okay.
just to fix all that whole street after they're in there tearing it up.
Have a motion for the
No,
additional.
we don't have to do that yet, because I'll have to bring it as a resolution
Okay.
to the August 6th meeting.
Have the first draft on the medical policy.
So-
Disconnect.
This is what I brought to you guys at the last meeting regarding, we've had some individuals contact us regarding that their health. We've received requests from a good neighbor out there, that so-and-so's water, sewer not be turned off due to a medical condition. We don't have it in ordinance, on how even if you how you wanna deal with that. So after we had met, I talked to Jim, the attorney, and this is what he put together. I'm okay with it. I think it's fine. It doesn't my concern was letting people get too far behind. But I think the way Jim has wrote this, it's not gonna allow for that. If you want me to put it in ordinance form, I will. But unless you guys, so that's up to you whether you want to put that in the town's ordinances.
Listen, one thing when I was reading through that I think, or at least to me, needed some clarification, or maybe it's there and I'm not understanding. Under section 6, subsection 1, it talks about the good faith payment of 25%. Does that 25% need to bring it down below that $500 threshold that's mentioned in section 4?
So what this is basically saying, Ross, is if they defaulted in a previous request,
Right.
okay, that in order before we can approve their next request, they've got to put 25% down. So as a part of
So this isn't talking about an old balance. This
No.
is a down payment.
this is the down payment on what they're requesting for now.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I do like the fact that they have to, granted, they're protected by HIPAA, but they have to at least say, it's not somebody just can come in and say, I just need an extension.
And they have to get written
From
from
their doctor.
physician or.
See, if you'll say medical professional signature, they have to take this form with them.
So if you get one, it says Dr. Johnson. Be careful.
Basically, all you have to tell me if you want me to write it up for ordinance form or if you don't.
I'd like to see you write it up.
Everybody in agreement with that?
And since I'm up here talking,
You're
as
gonna-
I always do, I'm the next one too. Okay, so this is after we discussed the issues we've been having with the street closures, and we've had a lot. For instance, moving the barricades to where they were originally placed. I mean, hop on board.
Well, I think part of this too is that, like we discussed before, they're moving in stuff, they're closing the streets not at the marked times that they give us. They say they're going to close it from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. They close it from 3 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Thursday night for a Saturday event.
Yes.
Yeah,
That just happened.
Yep.
They're blocking several things, which they're again, I understand they want to get things in early, get started, but you guys approved it that way. We have downtown businesses that have to operate still. And when you start bringing things in a day early or 12 hours earlier, that's going to affect the downtown businesses where people can park. And not only that, but it's also a thing for, disruption with top stuff because we're trying to get things moved so we can get stuff done. One of my things, and I know Melissa's worked hard getting this road up that way, but I feel like too, they should fill a street closure out one at a time, and they should have to be here when they ask for it. Just for the simple fact of filling out 9 of them on one page for me to try to keep track of what we're going to give them which day. And not saying they're bad, but Live Liberty's got like 9 of them on one page. So for me to try to keep track of which day and then which area, and then wanting signs to close street, well that falls under Todd for the sign part, falls under barricades for me. I'll work with anybody, but when we get 9 of them on one page for 9 different dates, same way with UCDC does it for Fall Festival, 4th of July, Christmas in our hometown. They put that all in one. So to document, and then if we ever have any trouble or there's any questions, we don't have we don't have nobody to talk to, or if they, like I think we had a couple times last year where we didn't want certain streets shut down because it was going to disrupt the business. Well, then they went ahead and just shut it down anyway. So I think that's why one of my things is they ought to have to come in and request it each time and be held accountable, come in and say, hey, here's what we got going on. I'd like to have this for such and such weekend. I mean, that's just my feeling.
Physically have to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come in
Stand right
and
here.
show that this is why they want it.
And
I mean,
so that what we agree to and
Yes.
we're all on the same page.
yeah, and everybody's right here. We're not making a phone call or just, hey,
I agree 100%.
talk to them and say,
Now,
hey, this will work.
Are you suggesting that they do that every month, or like let's just use Live and Liberty? Do you have a problem as long as they have 7 separate applications? They can apply all of those at the same time. They don't have to make 7 trips in here.
Well, I feel like they should, because if there's an issue with one of the time before, how do they know how they know that there was an issue with something? You see what I mean? Because I don't mean that bad, but if they're not coming in and saying, hey, here's what we got going on. And just let's use, for example, the trash, or they didn't put the barricades back, or we lost them. Then at the next meeting when they come in, you got a note on that. You can say, hey, look, guys, we had a few issues here. We want to address these at this time. Let's follow through with this, and because we can't continue having this happen, or you can't start shutting it down at 3 o'clock in the afternoon
For a 6
instead of
o'clock
starting
event.
for a 6 o'clock event. Which, like I said, I'm not picking on Live Liberty because they do well with their stuff, right? I'm just using them as an example. So I want everybody to don't think I'm saying that. But I just feel like, if they want it, and if I need something, I have to come to a meeting and ask you guys. Most of the time I can't just say, here's a piece of paper. I feel like that's just the way. To me, that would be the way to do it.
And then we've also given them, you guys, the authority that, hey, if we do have problems with an entity, you don't have to grant them a street closure. If we've had issues with them before, you don't have to.
Yeah, I know, I understand what you're saying, and we probably should do it that way. Live and Liberty, she actually did come up with that, but it was on us for letting her use one piece of paper, I guess. I didn't think about it being confusing, but that makes sense.
Well, when you start getting into it and have different nights, because there's different stuff for each But yeah, I mean,
The one
it's
was-
causing issues for utilities and the police, and we need to do something about it for sure.
All right, so what I'll do if you guys aren't opposed, I'll bring this to you guys. I'll add they have to physically come in and make their presentation to the board, and each street closure should have its own form. And that way, you know, and then that way it's going to be easier for you to track.
Well, yeah, and that's the way really before we did that for the longest time. It was each form for each time, but now we're getting into so many street closures that it's, I mean, we got staff up down there, you know, to keep track of.
And hopefully they'll get with me a little bit sooner for the signs.
Yeah.
They're getting a hold of me a day or two before and going, "Can we get them? Are you at work?" No.
And now we're starting to charge for them too.
Okay. And
So
then-
what's going to happen with that? Because this is what I'm going to change about that. So when you are done with that box, because of the way the street closures go, when you're done with that box, I'm going to have it come out of the street department supplies, because then I can write one check for the $35 fee plus the posters, rather than trying to split them up in receipts. And then that'll all be receipted into NVH, rather than me trying to go from NVH to general fund. So it'll just go to one single fund, because right now it would just be split. But that's kind of hard with splitting checks. So because most of them pay checks. So I would have that paid out of the supplies, and then whenever they come to bring a check, it'll all just go to NVH.
What if, just thinking on this, so we don't charge them for a sign each time? What if you give me a chance to talk to some of the businesses, find out a couple of sign places, why we couldn't make like a dry eraser board sign for them, and then we could mount those to the board for them, and then they could just fill those out. That way they're not paying.
It's true.
You see what I mean? And you're not paying $5 for a sign, and then but it'd be their responsibility to fill them out with the date and the time.
Yep.
And then, you know, we could put them on a bucket, put them up. I'm just trying to think. I know we're not here to make money. We're just here to
Cover our
for
costs.
safety and cost stuff. But if we done something like a dry eraser board sign or something simple where they could, you know, maybe do it that way, I'm just thinking it'd help everybody out. But then we'll collect them back up. We'll throw them back out in the bucket with the board on it, and they can go from there. That's a cost all the way around. What we've suggested this several times before,
and
but you know, there's
this way
nobody.
they could just set it out when they're wanting to, all enforced.
Yeah, but I think
Because we can't think of it every time. You know, this is the first Wednesday of the month. Sometimes it slides by us. You know, and then I'm getting a call going, "Where's this at?"
But I think we can look at that, maybe figure that out where it might help a little bit, and then you know, and maybe later on we incorporate that in the cost down the road for next year. Instead of being 35, it might be $40 each time just to cover the cost of those signs for buying. You know, and then we'll just sign those out the same way. If we don't get the signs back, then you're going to get billed for the signs just like you would cones. To you know, if that happens. So.
Is there anything in place to notify the businesses when there is a street closure approved, like by a certain time, or just council? Just follow the council.
I don't, we don't have anything in place. I mean, we don't have to say, hey,
That would be up to the event coordinator to do that rather than us, because that's their request to close the street.
Right.
To me, it's up to them to go and say, hey, this is what's going on.
I've heard feedback before. Well, we didn't know. We didn't know it was closing today. Well,
I didn't either.
if we could do something to help them, they might be a little more welcoming to the events happening.
Oh,
The NDOT agreement.
yeah, the amendment and the NDOT.
So NDOT has just sent this to me. You guys approved the agreement. It was April. Well, they have increased what they're going to pay us on the mileage. So rather than $360, they're increasing it to $450.
Instead of Bill One, he's off on.
Yeah, right. So basically, they're just giving us an increase just due to rising costs. But you guys will have to do that as a motion.
Entertain a motion to accept the amended IDOT or NDOT street sweeping agreement.
I'll make a motion to accept the amendment, street sweeping. Second.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? Motion carried.
Yeah.
Tap in request 306 Swan Street.
Anything abnormal with that, man?
No. That's the, she bought the, old clothes closet. So she's gonna split the garage, it's in the back. That's what this is gonna be, she's gonna make it into living quarters. So we'll tap that new water and sewer line back there on Lane Street for that. We'll have water on the front for the old house.
So it's bringing just sewer and water to that building. I mean, it's
Well, we'll make the taps and then they'll take care of you, taking it to the building.
Yeah, that's one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, one of your motion.
Make a motion to allow tap in request for 306 East Lane Street.
Any other questions in regard to that motion? Second. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same. Carried. Main Bank
Reconciliation.
reconciliation. Everybody had a chance to look that over.
And these are May.
Yeah, Meg. I know, I put April up top.
Hey, if you read them, you find it.
Yep.
Entertain a motion to accept the bank statements.
I'll make a motion to accept the bank.
Second. Motion second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
Yeah, the next two are me. I'll just build one. So the last meeting I gave you the new employee handbook that we've been Imani and I have been working on. I asked that if any of you have any changes or such, get back to me so I can get with her to start finalizing the handbook. So have you guys had a chance to look at it? I'd like to get back with her so we can get that going. If not, I'll tell her that it's.
Say that I looked it over a couple of times. I think it's pretty in depth. far as that goes.
And it makes us state and federally compliant.
It looks good until something happens that brings it to our attention.
Yeah, that's the way it always is.
You mean you can't plan for everything? So,
Now, Annie.
I've been trying so hard.
Melissa, one question that I had was on the section 110, the outside employment. If a town employee has another job, is that cleared through the department head and through you? Is something
Or-
submitted that there would be no conflicts? Or?
Basically, yes. And the thing that this part came about, the outside employment a couple years ago. What was it? There had been talk about our police officers working also as school resource officers. So basically, but that was kind of in tune with the fact that if there was some kind of we had to put that in because we were going to make sure that for them to work at school that they went to the council because they were going to be using their uniforms, that type of stuff. And if they were doing that, then they needed to get permission from the council to do that.
I make notes of that.
Or you can get back with me, Jeff, and just just stop in and we'll just talk about it. Yeah. Okay, and then before you is what I would call first draft of the 2027 budget. I know that's kind of early, but I've been anxious to get that to see about funding because that's going to be the big kicker these next couple of years. Like I said, it's first pass. I'm sure it'll change a couple times, but like I said, I was really wanting to see how this all was going to lay out. I think one thing that helped us is the fact that we've already moved some of this stuff to the public safety employee. I think 2027, if we stay along this type of idea, I think we're fine. We're really fine. It's 2028 that's going to be the key. The one thing I did do in these with this is I did figure, and I know, like I said, raises. So, and what I did to at least give some kind of raise. The cost of living adjustment for 2027 is, where's my notes? I think it's 3.7. So the anticipated cost of living adjustment for next year is between 3.8 and 4.7%. So I went median and went 4.25 as a cost of living adjustment. And I know I've had some people come to me and ask me questions. Well, why is this lower? Why is this lower? And so what you guys have to understand is that, for instance, myself, my staff, and Matt's staff, we are paid out of all three accounts. And the only thing that the state cares about seeing is the general fund account. They don't really worry about water and sewer. Okay, so what you're seeing is what is paid out of the general fund. Now, I can't do that with Todd. He is paid out of the public safety, Lloyd. The other guys are paid out of the general fund. So, like I said, this is first draft. If you have questions, come see me. How I did this is the fact that I took the 6-month point that we were at as of July 1st. So anything from January to June, basically what was spent times by 2. And then that comes up with plus the appropriations. So you are going to see some fluctuations. And like, for instance, this is after when you came in here. Like, for instance, I increased the budget for professional services on my side from $17,000 to $22,000 because preparation for the 2028 budget is going to be nasty. Because, for instance, like one thing that they're changing on us is rather than having 2 public hearings, now we have to have 3. And there's a lot more stuff that's going to be happening. So I'm going to need extra help on that, like I said, to make sure that we're following this. So that's why I raised that for the fear that that's going to happen. But like I said, in there, just look it over. If you have questions, come see me. So we can get this party started, because I meet with the LGF in early August. So we need to kind of get this going so that I can, they will review my numbers and then they will say if we can fund our budget or not. So, happy reading. And then there's a possibility I read in the Indianapolis Star that Braun is considering more considerations. For instance, cutting the, how do I want to say this, for lack of a better term, property taxes on people who I believe are senior citizens. I don't know if it's veterans or disabled veterans, and then if people have paid off their house. So that could also possibly reduce our property tax intake even more as we're going along. So we could be, I've read where 13,000 county and municipal jobs could be cut over this year because of these changes. 13,000 people are on their jobs. So, yeah. Hey, Bills.
So, Melissa, just a quick question. I know we were talking about we were waiting to see that money come in our distribution at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. If you guys have something you want,
I'm sorry, what we need, like a dump truck.
We are not doing wants. And you guys, at least for the next couple of years, there will be no wants. There's no nice, shiny little, until we figure out where this is all going.
But I mean, we knew last year we was talking, we was waiting to do anything until we knew the distribution was here.
Yeah.
So is that something we can start working towards?
Start working on
prices, and then we know that we can present it, and then you guys can pick and choose and figure out which way we can go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, it's needs. It's not
well,
Is there any other comments from anyone?
I've got one more, I meant to bring it up. Tomorrow night at our business meeting, can't remember if it's June 29th or 30th, we had a run where Tipton was electrocuted by getting ladder and the high-powered electric lines. Contacted by Judge Cox, Reed EMS, that he's presenting life-saving awards to the ones that come in contact with him. He wasn't breathing. He didn't have a heartbeat. 2 officers arrived on scene, started CPR. We had 5 guys show up, 5 firefighters show up. They used our AED. Actually got a pulse back. Actually got him to the hospital. And the last I heard, a week later, he was ready to go back to work. But tomorrow night they're coming down to present some awards to the firefighters and the police officers and anybody that was on scene that day. The life-saving awards will go to the ones that actually had contact with the victim, and then awards for ones that were there for support. I just wanted to mention that we did have a serious incident with a good outcome.
Beautiful. Everything?
Just Matt, since I'm on the board not only of Keane but of Life Liberty too, I have a problem on it. What do you need from us for the street closures? Is that something we immediately need to come to you and get changed, or is this
No. They've all been approved already. I'm just saying as the future part goes.
Live is probably one of the best ones.
Live, that's why I said I wasn't picking on live.
No. I just want to make sure that we're doing things the way you want them done, so that we can.
Yeah.
I want to be in compliance and be.
You guys are fine, and everything's been approved.
So we don't need to do anything else. You don't need us to help out to make things easier. We'll adapt to the change.
No.
Okay.
Everything's fine. I wasn't picking on you. I promise you.
No, I'm just
I'll just come across
one of the best.
just grab you.
I just wanted to make sure that,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
if we need to
everything's
fill
fine.
out the forms and redo it the way you want it done,
No,
then
they've
that's
already been
perfectly
all
fine.
approved by the town board, so it's all good.
Okay, I just wanna make sure
Yeah.
that,
No,
yeah, where,
we'll make it.
if you want us to do something different, we're more than happy to redo
I
stuff.
just think
Please
for the
just come
future,
to
what
us.
we're looking at.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at is on down the
Cause
road.
we feel like we're a good thing for the community and we wanna make sure that everybody's as happy as they can be with us, so.
Oh, it's, yeah.
If there's any problems, please let us know and we'll adhere to whatever you think is best or want done. That's all I have to add. So.
Thank you for your input. Anybody on the board have anything else? Motion to adjourn. I was gonna say, you make all the motion. That was Jeff.
Yep,
Second.
Second.
there we go.
All those in favor say aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you everyone for attending.
You-
Appreciate it.